if my children are happy, I am happy. And
I just want to like
you,
convey to the audience, like as we're talking, because Judita just said that before we started recording, and we're like, okay, let's go to the next topic, and she said that, and we're like, that's such a bullshit
such a
statement,
bullshit.
and we're like, pull into it. How, with my kids, I have very clear boundaries, and also I'm saying like, I don't put you first. Like you do not come first in my life, and that may sound cruel to some, but it's actually I am giving them permission to do the same. Because whenever I check in with them, it's kind of like they ask me like, do you like this? Or like, did I do well? I'm like, did you do well? Like, how do you feel about this? Because it's not about other people validation. And just like,
first of all, it also like puts me under the pressure that I should be always happy, that I should be always perfect. I should be always happy because like, if like my parents sees me unhappy or sad, they will be sad.
Hello and welcome to Flow, Grow, and Thrive. You're here with Anna and Judita, and we got a juicy topic. So
yeah, we have
Judita and I are both so excited.
I'm like, this is a good one.
How about you start with this one? Actually, go ahead.
Yeah,
just had that.
This one is really like personal. Like nothing is really personal in this video. So, this one is very personal because, all my life I was always, or I'm still actually like I still hear this, and I don't know if somebody can relate, but it's from my parent, and it is, if my children are happy, I am happy. And
I just want to like convey to the audience, like as we're talking, because Judita just said that before we started recording, and we're like, okay, let's go to the next topic, and she said that, and we're like, that's such a bullshit statement, and we're like, what? Pull into it. So let's dive in with this with like no filter.
Yes, because I've been listening this my whole life, and what is actually like, first of all, what is it teaching me is that I have to prioritize everyone else. And if I actually see everyone else being happy, I will be happy. So, and oh my God, what a bullshit. Like, if I see everyone else happy, then I will be happy. It just doesn't make any sense. So,
no, for two reasons, because I want to identify, like, first, it's kind of like nobody can be happy because everybody has their own projection. So it's kind of like they're happy on a happy day when they're not triggered, and they're not happy on a not happy day when they're triggered, So it's kind of like everybody can be happy. And number two, it's like that falling apart, and just like that, you can't you have nothing to give when you don't put yourself first. So it's this is like as much of a trap as, I'm going to look outside for validation. So when everything around is crappy, I have to feel crappy, and I'm bringing my frequency down. And if everyone else is happy, then that is when I give myself permission to actually put my frequency up and feel good. And that never happens. So you're like doomed to never feel good.
Yes, exactly. And for me, it's really interesting to like see this because it first of all, it also like puts me under the pressure that I should be always happy, that I should be always perfect. I should be always happy because like, if like my parents sees me unhappy or sad, they will be sad, or they will think that something's going on with me, or what, because they didn't do a good job because their child is sad and unhappy and is crying, and so that's the first one. And then the second one is the validation of like, you can't really look for your own happiness outside of yourself. That's just your own job to make yourself feel good, and to do things which make you happy, and it's okay if you don't feel happy. That's another very toxic, like, toxic positivity, where everyone is happy all the time. We are human beings. We can't be happy all the time.
It's like, I'm a human being and it's my right to fall apart.
Yes, sometimes I'm just like, and I admit that it's like not my best day, and that's okay. I don't have to bad myself in it like for a month, of course, but sometimes I just have a shitty day, and that's okay. I have a shitty day, and I just like, I'm able to admit it, that that's what it is. So
like sometimes you can do it for a month. There's no shame in that either.
oh, of course, if you want to do it for a month. I
Just go
actually
ahead,
don't
let
know.
yourself
Yeah,
free, have a
yeah,
crappy month.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. That's your choice. But
I love that you brought that
yeah,
up. That was a big one of
what is your
as a
turn about
child,
this?
you
Yeah.
feel as the burden
Mm.
of like, okay, it's not safe for me to express my feelings. Because like you would say, you know, children are, they're like, you know, selfish, and they're like, you know, running around and being wild and like not caring, not following the rules. But they feel like they feel that frequency when the environment in the home is not you know what it is. This is why, oh, a big one, like I tell many parents, like, oh, we're staying there for the kids. I'm like, you don't understand how toxic that is, because even if you're there like keeping up the appearances, and I had so many friends go through that, like they waited until their kids were divorced, and their kids were grown up, and then they divorced, and then the kids show up and say like, that environment that I grew up in was not okay. And even though you're keeping up appearances and like, oh, we're good and whatever, but it's like, if that has an impact on a child, because they're so sensitive, they feel, you know, the emotional and the energies in the home. And so when we're there pretending everything's okay, and the child like doesn't feel okay expressing themselves, because like, I can't be happy because my mom's going to be upset or my dad's going to be upset, it's kind of like, you can't give another person freedom when you don't have it within you. You have nothing to give. How can you possibly show someone something that you are not living yourself? It's not possible. So with parents, I do strongly recommend, again, I was just recently having a conversation with somebody yesterday. And I was saying there how, you know, with my kids, I have very clear boundaries. And also I'm saying like, I don't put you first. Like, you do not come first in my life. And that may sound cruel to some, but it's actually, I am giving them permission to do the same. Because whenever I check in with them, it's kind of like, they ask me like, do you like this? Or like, did I do well? I'm like, did you do well? Like, how do you feel about this? Because it's not about other people validation. And just like, and I keep telling them, like, whenever they're asking me something, so, well, why aren't you available? I'm like, because I have my own life, and you can have your own life. And it's not about like, well, entertain me, or like, look, because, you know, kids just have that naturally. It's like that human, like, look at me. I want to be witnessed. I want to be experienced. Like, I want to be, for someone to see me. And it's kind of like, yes, that's an ego thing, and that's okay, and that's human, and you can't rely on that. Like, it's not for me to cater and to satisfy that. So when we're giving permission to ourselves to be like, I have my own life, we are teaching others that it's okay to do that too. Just like when you're being vulnerable and showing your feelings, you're actually giving permission to another person to feel safe enough to do that too. It's not a negative, it's actually a positive. You're offering freedom to another, but first you have to allow it to yourself. And that's a big price to pay for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's just, yeah. So, oof,
I feel like all of our topics are just like, I'm covering just a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's I'm wondering, like, for our audience to check in, um, are you able to be honest with yourself and
Oh,
with
yes.
your parents, like that something is not okay in your life,
Yeah.
and to be able to even explain to your children that something is just not okay, that it's like
Yeah.
fine that something is going on in your life. Because in my life I was always like, I felt it as a child, I felt that something's going on, I felt it and I've seen it. But
Mm.
if I had that real honest conversation where they would explain to me that something's going on, I knew that the communication is the key. I would
Mm.
learn that
Yeah.
skill. I
And it's
didn't
safe to
have
express. Yeah. I would
yeah, I
actually go
didn't
into, because, you know, if you don't have kids, and I mean, this is really inner work, right? It's like reparenting yourself. It's like, are you now, because we repeat our parents' patterns, right? It's like, are you now able to tell your inner child, like, I ain't got this, like, I don't know what's happening, or like, I'm lost and I'm figuring it out. Are you able to do that? And just, yeah, I would very much recommend in the comments of just, where was this, your journey with your parents? How open was that emotional space? And just bring that to awareness, because it's important. Because, you know, a lot of people stuff, it's like, well, I had an okay childhood. It's kind of like, your parents may have been saints, But the fact is that the ego is still there going into not enoughness. So it's okay to admit that trauma. It's okay to say, I love my parents. They did an amazing job. And there are things that I was still not okay with. There are needs that still were not met. It's not that you're saying that they're horrible. It's just you're being true to yourself. So are you able to have that kind of honesty with your inner child?
Oof, I love that. Yeah, no, let us know down below in the comments. I would probably finish with this as well, because I would love to know, where are you with that honesty with your inner child? Let us know. And if you like this video, give us a like and share it with your friends who have children or wants to have children.
Or who have inner children, which is all of us. We all have inner children. We have to have these honest conversations. Yeah. All right. We'll see you in the next one.